So tell your story. How did you become a horse trainer?
My name is Ashley Shaw. This is Sally. She is a 7-year-old Trakehner mare, and we are based here at Galloping Springs Ranch in Dripping Springs. I've grown up here. I actually went to Dripping Springs schools myself, and my mom is a horse trainer. So I graduated school thinking that I did not want to become a horse trainer and went to St. Ed's in Austin and decided afterward that I didn't have enough time to ride the horses, so moved to the Netherlands, which is a very competitive place for the sport that I do, which is called dressage, and was an apprentice there. It's called being a working student, but I was an apprentice for 2 Olympians for a while, and then moved to California and did the same thing for another person who was on the US Olympic team in 2012. And decided to move back here and start my own business so that I could be closer to my family, and also Texas is the best.
So what kinds of skills do you need to be a horse trainer?
You need to be very disciplined. The horses are really sweet and it's very fun to work with them, but that is one of the easiest parts of the job, maintaining a consistent schedule of clients. So I teach lessons to people, and I teach them sometimes on my horses, sometimes on their horses. So being able to maintain a consistent schedule and communicate with a lot of people is really important. Also, being able to like what you do every day. There are some days that are really hard and you have to find something that's positive in every day. This past year, we built this whole arena and barn, and I designed it myself and also did all the contracting. So you have to be very resilient and self-reliant. It is a tough sport because we get really emotionally invested in our animals and what we do. And so you have to be able to always go back to the drawing board and keep yourself focused on what your goals are in order to be your best self for your team, whether it's the horses or your employees or your clients.
What sorts of certification or training do you need to become a horse trainer?
It depends. So other countries have programs where you go get a license to become a horse trainer. For example, in Germany, they have, if you want to do dressage or jumping, they have a training program that's sort of like a trade school that you have to complete, and it's written and oral and mounted exams in all of the dressage training, dressage and jumping, in order to be able to understand the horsemanship and get your license with the German Federation. Now, Germany also has a federal program where they support riders and horse trainers. America does not. So for the United States, pretty much anyone can become a horse trainer, but your success will be dependent on the experience you've had. So going out and getting apprenticeships and working for people and learning how, just as much as you can, to do what you want to do is very useful. I did a judges program so that I can help my students and myself to be more competitive and understand what the judges are looking for, because competition is part of what I like to do and what my business is good at.
What is the hardest part of your job?
Sometimes the horses are feeling under the weather or they can get injured, and occasionally they do pass away. And those are definitely the hardest days. Things that happen with people, those sorts of conflicts are all usually really temporary and easy to resolve. But the horses, we're really here to advocate for them and to take care of them and have a partnership. And when something bad happens with the horses, those are the hardest days. That's the thing that you really have to be ready for and have a support system, a friend or a family member in place, because there's nothing you can do about it. It's usually a surprise, and it's usually your favorite horse.
What part of your personality best fits this job?
I'm very black and white, so sometimes I can be a little bit blunt or sharp with people, but at the end of the day, whether it's an employee or a client or a horse, they all know what the expectations are, and everyone feels very secure in their role at the farm. When they know they've done a good job, they're very sure of it. When something has gone wrong, they know, but there's also a solution for it. I would say I'm very good at coming up with alternative solutions or plans and adjusting the plan. You can't, even if I have a plan for the day, something usually happens that throws us off. So being flexible but also being able to be very clear in what your expectations are will help you to make the horses advance faster, because they can't talk to us, so they need to really know when they've done a good job or when they need to do something different. And same with the people. And then everybody's happy. It's when people are, confused, or when the horses are confused, that things get difficult.
What does a typical day look like for your job?
Usually in the winter we start a little later, so we start around 8 or 9 in the morning, and I'll ride anywhere from 6 to 12 horses a day, depending on how many clients I have coming for lessons, because some of them are a combination of training and lessons in the training program that they're in, and sometimes I just ride somebody else's horse. So this horse is my horse. I ride her about 5 days a week. Today I think I've got about 8 horses on my schedule and 2 lessons, so it's a lighter day. But we wake up, and some days I have a groom that helps me out a lot and brushes the horses and gets them ready so I can be a little faster. And if you get to a point where you can afford one in your training program, that will help you a lot to be efficient with your time, because there's also a lot of paperwork that comes with being a dressage trainer. So, and really any sort of small business owner. So we ride, and then the horses, go out into the fields. They come in. We have this covered arena. Sometimes we do cross training, and we usually wrap up around 5 or 6 with the riding horses. And the lessons right now don't go much beyond that because it gets cold. In the summer, I'll start at 6 or 6:30 in the morning and try to be done riding by 3, and then either have some lessons right after, because we do have the shade of the covered arena now, or I'll do them later in the evening when it's cooler.